Hi, everyone. This is Mohammed Abubakr, founder and CEO of Digital Pharmacy. Today, I'm chatting up with Jonathan from the Medipim team. Jonathan, for the audience who are tuned in, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I'm Jonathan. I'm from the Medipim US team, and I'm a business development manager here. And yeah, essentially what Medipim is a centralized product content platform built specifically for the pharmacy space. And yeah, really excited to talk more about it.
Amazing, amazing. So Jonathan, before we dwell into Medipim and how it's useful for the pharmacies, I want to just understand how you got into this space. What led you into the pharmacy space?
Oh boy. Well, it was actually my boss Jeff met the founder of Medipim, Martin, at an e-commerce expo a few years back, and they instantly vibed with each other, and said that they wanted to go in business together. So yeah, Martin basically chose us to be the official distributors for the United States of Medipim, and yeah, it's all been amazing since, and I'm really glad that I was able to be pulled into this project, and I've done so much just to get us set up and get us rolling within the US, and done a lot on the operational side and now doing a lot on the sales side too, and it's all going great.
Amazing, amazing. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about Medipim. What's the product about?
Yeah, so what Medipim is it's a centralized product content platform. And so essentially it's a massive online database of everything that's going to be sold within the front end of a pharmacy. So all of the OTC medications and then all of the health, beauty, and wellness products. Right now in the US database, we have over 45,000 of these front end products. And for each of them, we have high quality images, we have patient friendly descriptions, and we have up-to-date details from the packaging across, OTC, across cosmetics, supplements, basically everything that's sold in the front end of a pharmacy. And so the idea is that pharmacies can immediately use this high-quality data, which we're capturing on a daily basis, taking new photos and gathering new descriptions, and they can immediately plug that into whatever digital platforms they intend to use. So whether that's for e-commerce, whether that's for their POS system, whether that's for their ERP system, it is.
So Jonathan, so say for example, I'm a small pharmacy, and how is Medipim useful for me?
Yeah, so we've been doing a lot of different things with the Medipim platform. It is powered by a powerful API, so we can plug that into all sorts of different digital systems that are going to be used within a pharmacy. So that could be within your POS system. So as soon as you scan a product at checkout, you can immediately have all the information available on it so you can better advise your patients. Or what we're doing in our partnership with Digital Pharmacy is actually using it for e-commerce. And it's very easy as a pharmacist to just share your stock list with us, and then we can immediately fire up an e-commerce website with all of your product information readily available on there. And you'll have various pictures for each item, all in full HD, and you'll have a full description of your item basically available immediately. And so it kind of helps you navigate that content chaos. So a lot of pharmacies struggle to find very consistent pictures and details for these products, as well as it helps you save some time. There's a time sink aspect there where the staff had to in the past manually add and maintain product data across their websites, and it also just helps create a more consistent customer experience both within the store and online for your pharmacy.
Amazing. So before it arrived to US, was Medipim present in other countries?
Yeah,
What's
so
the
the
backstory
U.S.
of Medipim?
So back in 2012, our founder Martin over in Belgium, he had traditionally been an e-commerce developer for about a decade prior to that, and he had a pharmacist come to him and asked to get a website built, and Martin said, "Yeah, of course." And then in building the website, Martin found out that there was no sort of single source of truth for all of that product data. And all the manufacturers had their data over here, the wholesalers had their data over here, but there was nothing that was a centralized database for that. So he ended up building it himself, and that became Medipim. And so that was over in Belgium back in 2012. Since then, we've expanded to 8 different countries. I believe the US is actually our most recent, our eighth country. And yeah, doing really well over in Europe, both in Belgium and in France. We have 100% market coverage. So essentially, every pharmacist in those countries is using Medipim in some sort of capacity. And yeah, it's essentially how we've spread internationally, and we're hoping to continue to do so into the future.
Amazing, amazing. So So if I understand correctly, so this product that evolved in Europe, you guys took over for the United States business, and you have been trying to interact with the pharmacies in United States to adopt Medipim.
Yeah, that's the plan. There's a lot of pharmacies throughout Europe that are using Medipim, both for e-commerce as well as a number of other applications. And in fact, over there, it's even powering fully robotic pharmacies. So we have fully robotic medication dispensers over in Europe
Yep.
that are powered by
Yep.
the Medipim platform. So we have all the images and descriptions for that as well. And yeah, so we brought it over to the US now, and we're trying to get our foothold here, and we're focusing on spreading this to all the pharmacists in the U.S., of which there are 20,000 independent pharmacies throughout the U.S., and I believe the numbers are less than 50% have any sort of online presence, and less than 15% have any sort of e-commerce whatsoever. And so, yeah, we're trying to bring the U.S. pharmacy market into the modern age and allowing these smaller independent pharmacies to compete with the big names, with the Rite Aids, CVSs, and so on.
Amazing, amazing. When you interact with the pharmacy owners, what sort of feedback you're getting about the product?
Oh boy, we get a lot of great feedback about the product. I think that overall, this is a new world for a lot of these independent pharmacists. They've been doing things the old school way for a very long time, and some of them can be pretty hesitant to change and hesitant to new technologies. But I think once they see that the value is there in doing something like e-commerce for their pharmacy, that they're head over heels for it. But yeah, what we're seeing is we're able to help them open new revenue streams. So they're able to offer like buy online, pick up in store options, which is something that they never had the capability to do before. And they're able to, offer local delivery options, something else that traditionally they've mostly been doing just with the RX. So they've been doing with the prescription side of things. A lot of the pharmacies that we work with, are already doing prescription deliveries, and we're allowing them to tack on front end items on top of that, without any additional overhead. And so, the front end items are how a lot of these pharmacies see their profitability, whereas the margins on the prescriptions are not as high. And so, yeah, we're seeing that we're able to increase their profitability and increase their revenue. And so far, the feedback has been really good.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I definitely see it as a huge problem for small pharmacies that are selling both prescription drugs as well as OTC products. Creating a product catalog of 20,000 products, it's a nightmare. It'll take months and months of effort to create that product catalog. And having a very organized product catalog with very professionally taken images can be like the moment you set up an e-commerce website for your pharmacy, it starts looking professional
Mm-hmm.
and the customers will start taking it seriously compared to a website with very shady images, and it kind of gives that very shady pharmacy that's operating illegally, right? So that's
Yep,
a I
100%.
that provides a huge difference when you have very professionally crafted description and good images, so it immediately gives a feeling that okay, I can purchase medicines from this because it looks like it's very beautifully created.
Yep, especially in the modern age, you have to have a very professional looking website. That's the first place that customers are going to look you up, right? And as we're seeing, more and more purchasing decisions are moving online,
Yep.
especially for the American consumer. They do the majority of their shopping online these days. So yeah,
Yep.
that's going to have to transfer to the pharmacy as well. And with the advent of AI, with the all the advancements that are happening in AI right now, we're able to do this so much quicker and easier than we could have possibly done 10 years ago, 15 years ago for these pharmacies. So I think if
Absolutely.
you're going to make the switch to e-commerce, now is the time to do it because yeah, traditionally this would have been, 10 years ago, this would have been a $50,000 website or maybe more for these pharmacies to get it done professionally. And
Yep.
now, we can launch up these websites, immediately within 24 hours and just get them going with no upfront fees. And so I think that it's a really exciting time. Yeah. I'm hoping that we can convince
The
more
other thing
pharmacies to get with the times.
Yeah, the other thing that I've noticed with consumer behavior is that people today don't want to spend time in pharmacies, visiting a physical pharmacy and understanding what sort of products they have. So most of the times what happens is even though, your local pharmacy is carrying certain product, but people are not aware of that. So they end up purchasing that product from Amazon or some other global site, and that causes loss of revenue for your neighborhood pharmacy. So it's always better that they put out their product catalog in front of their customers,
Hmm.
so that even if you're not spending time to browse what products they have in their physical store, here's my website. You can quickly look at what products I have, and you can drop by if you want to know more about those products, or you can just purchase it online and we'll get it home
Right.
delivered.
Right, exactly. And these are community pharmacies, which they're built around their communities and built around all their loyal customers. And so this is sort of an opportunity for them to expand their community even more.
Yeah, and I keep hearing the same feedback from a lot of these pharmacy owners that sometimes they're carrying product catalog related to orthopedic products, like a neck belt or a
Hmm.
clavicle belt, and people are not aware of that. Customers are not aware of that, and even though they need that, and they end up purchasing from Amazon, and they end up waiting for 3 days, 4 days for that product to arrive, and sometimes when it arrives, it doesn't fit them properly, and they have to return it back, and just too much to and fro.
Hmm.
Whereas the same product is carried by your neighborhood pharmacy, they don't make that extra effort of finding out whether that product is available in the neighborhood pharmacy or not. And they end up going through all this hassle, whereas they could have just, if the pharmacy had a website, the customers could have just browsed through the catalog and could have immediately known that, hey, my local pharmacy carries this. Why not just support the local pharmacy by purchasing there?
Exactly. Yeah. These days, when somebody, especially in the US, say you need a knee brace, the first thing the majority of people are going to do is look up knee braces, whether that's on Google or that's on Amazon. But the internet is going to be their immediate first thought. But yeah, when you need to have that the day of, and you want to support your local businesses, there's an obvious direction to go. And so, yeah, we're hoping to make it even more obvious.
Yeah. And other thing that I feel is going to be the next wave in terms of the digital experience is the quick commerce, where I think the small local businesses are going to play a significant role. So the first wave of e-commerce was the whole Amazons of the world, who were able to capture a significant market share because people all of a sudden got access to this huge product catalog, which was not easily accessible. So people started purchasing products online, and they were okay to wait for a few days for the product to arrive. Then subsequently, Amazon started realizing that people wanted it quickly. So they started this Amazon Prime deliveries, where within a day, you get your order. But now the consumer behavior is even changing. People want it now. In case of medicines and medical products, is generally now. People can't wait
Hmm.
even for the next day. People want it in next couple of hours. So it almost becomes like food delivery. Because if you're purchasing food, you want the food to be, before it gets cold, you want the food to be delivered to you, right? So generally, when you take DoorDash or any of the food delivery sites, they tend to deliver within an hour or two. And I
Hmm.
think the direction in which the pharmacy business is going is that the consumers would want their purchases, medical purchases, to be delivered within 2 hours. And
Hmm.
this is where the local small independent pharmacies have a significant edge, because now, because they're present just few kilometers or few miles away from the customer, they can fulfill that within 2 hours. So as the consumer behavior changes towards, I want instant delivery, I want delivery within 2 hours, the local pharmacies will be able to compete with the likes of Amazon and able to deliver the orders within 2 hours, because they have the stock readily available and they are present just few miles away from the consumer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, even Amazon can be too slow these days, despite despite how amazing it is how quick they can get something delivered. So yeah, when you
Yep.
need that, the same day, and it's not easily accessible for you to go out and get it, this is a perfect solution for that. So like our pharmacy that we're working with, Bullard Drug in Ola, Louisiana, they're in a very rural area where they don't have DoorDash and Uber Eats and things like that. So you're not getting immediate delivery unless you're getting it from them, right? Unless you're getting it from your local community pharmacy through e-commerce.
It totally makes sense as well, because you purchasing food online sometimes is just a luxury. Sometimes you just want like something additional beyond what you have at home. It's a luxury. But whereas purchasing medicines and wanting it now is a necessity. There's a difference,
Hmm. Yep.
right? The person is already suffering from some problem. It could be vomitings, it could be fever, it could be cold, and patient wants those medicines within next 1 hour, 2 hours. So it is not a luxury. It's not like just a kind of a fancy thing that people want. People want it because it's a necessity. So
Hmm.
I think more and more consumer behavior across the globe, and especially in the United States, would go towards that people would, if they have to purchase an OTC product or a prescription product, people want that delivery within 2 hours or lesser. And all the small and medium pharmacies, which are right now being threatened by the larger conglomerate chains or the Amazons of the world, I think they will get a second life
Hmm.
because of this quick commerce.
Yeah, definitely. And I've tried some of those like prescription delivery services and things like that, or prescription shipping services, I should say. And like my father, for example, just last week, tried to order some of his prescription drugs online, and they arrived 4 days late. So,
Yeah, it
when you
doesn't
really
make
need
sense,
this, when
right?
it's an absolute, necessity for yourself and your livelihood, then, the local pharmacy is the way to do it.
Yeah, and agree with you that the consumer behavior a few years ago with mail order pharmacies was that hey, I want some cost saving on my prescription drugs, so let me try out this mail order pharmacy, and the patients were like okay to wait for those 3 days, 4 days, or sometimes even longer. And these mail order pharmacies operated from some shady area where there are no taxes, and somehow they are
Hmm.
able to lower the cost of the medicines and ship it. But I think the consumer behavior is changing where the consumers now want a better experience. So they are like, okay, so there's a pharmacy in my neighborhood, and the biggest advantage they have is that they can deliver my medicines within 2 hours. And if
Right.
I'm already sick, I don't want to go out and purchase medicine, go out to purchase medicine, right? I want to sit at home and relax while someone just brings me the medicines.
Yeah.
So I think that's more valuable than somebody sitting at home and wanting a sneaker to be delivered. Come on, I mean, you can go to a store and pick up a sneaker, but when you're sick,
When
you
you're
want,
not feeling sick. Yeah.
yeah, when you're not feeling sick, you can just go to a store and buy a sneaker. You don't want that luxury of sneaker getting home delivered, but it's fine. It's if somebody wants it, but it's not a necessity. Getting medicines delivered on time is definitely a necessity. And many times what also happens is, I mean, I have my parents, and if I'm not in the town, I don't want my older parents to go to the pharmacy and purchase those medicines, come back, especially when they're not feeling well. I want someone
Right.
to just quickly deliver them, right? And so this whole wave of e-commerce for pharmacies is definitely in the right direction, and it's
Right.
it's irreversible.
Especially, since the COVID pandemic, where, if you come down with COVID, it's, not only extra effort, but it's irresponsible for you to, go into a large public
Well,
setting like that, right? It only makes sense
absolutely.
to get yourself delivered to your door that same day, the supplements you need, the prescriptions you need, and that kind of thing. Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, and COVID was sort of an eye opener for a lot of businesses because we never took out time to realize why are we doing a redundant thing. But COVID kind of made us like realize that there are a lot of things that we do in life which are just redundant or totally useless, but we are just doing it for the sake of doing it.
Yep.
Like some like making sick patients go to a pharmacy and purchase medicines. It just doesn't make sense.
No, I agree.
So amazing. So let's talk a little bit about the partnership that Medipim has with digital pharmacy, and what do you think about it, and how is it beneficial to the customers?
Yeah, definitely. Well, like I was saying, in partnering with digital pharmacy, we're able to offer something that we've never been able to offer before until very recently with the advent of AI. And we're able to immediately offer them a website. We're able to fire up that website within 24 hours. Literally, all we need from the pharmacy themselves is their stock list. We need their inventory. And then we can, go into the Medipim database and pull that and put it right onto the digital pharmacy platform. And yeah, I think it's really exciting that we're able to do it at such a quick speed and such simplicity for the pharmacists themselves. Which the last thing that these pharmacies need is additional complexity in their lives, right?
Yeah.
I've talked to a lot of community pharmacy owners, and yeah, the general consensus is they're pretty busy. So,
Yeah.
in partnering Medipim with digital pharmacy, we're able to, take some of that load off their hands while also presenting them new business opportunities. And so, yeah, it's been really exciting.
Amazing. the partnership between Medipim and digital pharmacy, I believe the first client is now live, the Bullard
Mhm.
Pharmacy. Would you like to throw some light on how the whole thing came into existence? How was the overall experience?
Yeah, definitely. We met Bullard Pharmacy late last year, and we had been in very very initial talks to them, saying, "Hey, we really want to do something in the e-commerce space. Would you be willing to let us start up a website for you and sort of be our guinea pig for that test run?" And then a couple months later, we were lucky enough to meet you, Abu, and meet the rest of the digital pharmacy team, and realize, well, this is perfect. This is the solution that we were looking for. We were maybe going to build something from scratch, or we were going to go through a different, more expensive solution. And we realized that yeah, we had some nice synergy with the digital pharmacy platform, and it was exactly what we were looking for Bullard. And so yeah, we formed this partnership a few months back, and it's been great ever since. And in working with Bullard, they've been incredibly patient with us. It's been almost a year-long process since we first told them, hey, we want to build a website for you. And so, yeah, seeing it finally live is incredibly exciting. And yeah, it's been quite a journey, trying to smooth out the integration between Medipim and digital pharmacy. And I think now that's incredibly streamlined and incredibly simple to use. Like I said, all you need, and the pharmacists can do it themselves even, is they can just upload the stock list into the back end of the website. And just like that, they have all the product information, all the images, all the descriptions that they need to have, effective, high quality e-commerce. And so I think it's sort of a match made in heaven between Medipim and digital pharmacy. And yeah, I think Bullard has been, I really appreciate all the patience and all the grace that they've granted us. And with them, we've been able to build, I think a very streamlined solution that's going to help out a lot of other pharmacies as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. The single most challenge that small pharmacies always had was the product catalog. They don't
Right.
have time to build the product catalog, and they definitely have seen Amazon, and they know that having an e-commerce website would streamline their orders. They will be able to retain their market share within their existing community, but they never had time to kind of build out this product catalog. And I think with digital pharmacy and Medipim and product catalog now available with a click of a button, where they just don't have to do any work, and amazingly professionally made product catalog is available at their disposal, and a website that's ready within 24 hours. I think it's a great value proposition for small and medium pharmacies across the United States. They just don't have to do work. They just have to give us a logo and tell us what products they want to sell about it, and they can go live in 24 hours.
Yeah, no doubt. And they put the work on our shoulders, which
Yep.
is yeah, it's been great. We're working incredibly hard, on our side to make sure that, all this product information stays up to date. Like I said, we're taking new photos every single day, gathering new descriptions every day. Every time there's a new packaging change, we're going to be on top of that. And so, yeah, just making it as easy as possible for the pharmacist to operate, I think is, yeah, super beneficial for everybody involved. Is also going to enable a lot more of these pharmacies to be able to do something like this, which was just, not possible in the past.
Yep. Yeah. And for those pharmacies that have not at all thought about the e-commerce storefront for their pharmacy, let me give a quick overview of what we are doing. So generally, any small or medium pharmacy, in terms of the customer base, you have patients that have acute problems, and they visit your pharmacy once in a while to purchase those medicines. So these are the customers who have a fever or a cold or a cough. It happens once in a while, and they visit your pharmacy and purchase those products. Roughly, the market share for the revenue that you generate from acute problems is about 15 to 20%. Your bulk of your revenue, almost 70% of your revenues, come from the chronic patients. So these are the patients that have problems like diabetics or hypertension, thyroid, or any of those problems that remain lifelong. And 70% of the revenues that pharmacies generate are from the chronic patients. Any small and medium pharmacy would probably have around 1,000 chronic patients that as your recurring customers. If you are covering a larger area, maybe more, 2,000, 3,000. So these are the customers that any pharmacy has to for sure retain to have a sustainable business in that area. And the Amazons of the world are trying to eat up this market share because they don't want customers with acute problems, because that's just 15-20% of the revenue. They want customers with chronic problems to become their clients, because that way the lifetime earnings from those customers is going to be significantly higher, and those customers are going to purchase the same set of medicines again and again from them. The Amazon of the world are trying to eat up that market share, and your step number one, your first challenge that you have to address is how do you retain that 1,000, 2,000 chronic customers that you have within your vicinity. So the e-commerce store that we are going to create, the Medipim and digital pharmacy, first ensures you that you retain that customer base. Now, for you to expand your pharmacy business beyond your area, the website and the mobile apps again come very much handy, because now as you increase your delivery radius, you start attracting more and more customers. As you start doing some digital marketing and you start doing some ground level marketing in the churches nearby, the community centers, you start attracting more and more customers. But obviously, you have to increase your delivery radius to cater to this customer. So, and this is how you expand your business. So these are two steps to that. Like step number one is retain your customer base with proper digital tools, and expand your business by expanding the delivery radius that you do. So any medium and small pharmacies listening to this is like a simple suggestion to you that start off with retaining your customer.
Yeah, I think that's a solid playbook.
Yeah, yeah, and I have seen, like, over the course, I've been working with pharmacies for the last 11 years, and I've seen many pharmacies lose their market share to online players, predominantly because what happens is they initially think that they can just take the online orders through phone calls, and and they sometimes are just happy with getting those 10 phone calls and doing 10 home deliveries per day, because probably they'll have one delivery person, and that one person can do about 10 deliveries a day, and then their business starts getting saturated beyond that. But unless and until a small pharmacy does about 30 orders per day, that roughly translates to about 1,000 customers a month. That's the minimum target audience that you have in any pharmacy in any small town or any metropolitan area that you're catering. You got to first look at that 1,000 customers online. And to get 1,000 customers, you got to do 30 deliveries per day minimum. That's a math.
Right.
30 into 30 is 900. So you have to do slightly more than 30. But 30 is like a rough number that I suggest that, hey, 30, if you're not doing 30 orders a day, then you're not tapping into that online wave, and you're losing market share because of that. So so that, and what we have also done with digital pharmacy and whole Medipim integration is that we have made it affordable for the small pharmacies. So it's not like you're spending like 10 grand or 20 grand on this app and a website, and you're taking a bet that this will be successful. You're not spending anything upfront. um, and in fact, you get like 14 days to 30 days trial as well to check out what we have built for you. And only if you're super satisfied that this is totally working for you, then you can sign up for a monthly subscription, which is again not substantial, just starts at a nominal value. I would urge all the pharmacies to at least explore the trial version and choose for the go for the subscription only if you're satisfied, where you see like you're going to get 10x the value of what you're paying.
Yep, no doubt. I think especially, there's a lot of forces affecting pharmacies right now outside of just competition, outside of, online competitors and Amazon and, the big name box stores like that. There's also, the PBMs out there that are, sort of crushing, the community pharmacy market right now and making it incredibly difficult for them to make the margins that they'd like to be making. And so, yeah, I think being able to have just, another way to both, support your existing customers and gain new customers is going to be incredibly valuable for, all these community pharmacies moving forward. And I think, to your point, now is the time to do it as well. With
Absolutely.
all the
If not
external
now,
forces
then
and yeah,
yeah. If not now,
yeah, most definitely.
most definitely. Amazing, Jonathan. It's been a wonderful conversation. Um, any last points you want to make to the pharmacies? Hey, what's your
Reach out,
elevator pitch?
book a meeting with me. What's that?
What's your elevator pitch?
My elevator pitch is now is the time to get on e-commerce for your pharmacy. There's never been a better time, and there's never been an easier time. With Medipim and digital pharmacy, there's never been an easier way either. We're gonna be able to get you up and going at very very minimal cost and be able to build out your revenues and hopefully make you some additional revenues for your business. And Yeah, I think it's the perfect opportunity to get out there and try something new, and hopefully this will be it.
Amazing, amazing, fantastic talking with you, Jonathan. I think this has been a wonderful last 30 minutes.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Abu. Appreciate it.